What if Japan had won World War II?
In 1945, the world stood on the edge of history. Cities burned, nations collapsed, and millions had already died in the deadliest conflict in human history. In our timeline, World War II ended with the surrender of Japan. But what if history had turned in another direction? What if Japan had won World War II? Imagine a world where the Pacific War did not end in American victory. Instead of being the turning point for American victory, Midway becomes Japan's greatest triumph. The Pacific suddenly changes. Japan expands faster than expected. The United States still has enormous industrial strength, but war is no longer moving in its favor. Factories work day and night, building ships, aircraft, and weapons. Japanese submarines dominate important trade lanes. The Pacific Ocean becomes a battlefield soaked in blood. Back home, fear spreads quickly. Washington must decide how to divide military power between Europe and the Pacific. Germany remains a major threat in Europe. Japan expands faster than expected. Each island battle becomes more brutal. Kamikaze tactics intensify. American troops continue fighting, but progress slows. What happens to the atomic bomb? In this alternate timeline, many things could change. Japanese engineers reinforce coastal defenses. An invasion of mainland Japan becomes one of the most terrifying military calculations. U.S. generals estimate millions of possible casualties. One of the biggest global consequences appears in China. Resistance movements continue, but they are divided and weakened. China's political future becomes unstable. The Soviet Union faces enormous strategic pressure. If Germany continues pressing from the west while Japan threatens Siberia from the east, the world we know never exists. Axis allies were never truly united. The world may fracture into competing empires. The Soviet Union becomes deeply worried. Could Japan invade Siberia? The global map becomes unrecognizable. America becomes more militarized. Tokyo becomes the strongest center of power in East Asia. Resistance movements never disappear. Underground rebellions grow across occupied territories. Maintaining empire across such massive regions would drain resources. Former allies become rivals. Spy networks explode. Technology races intensify. Fear becomes global. This may not be peace. Only a colder, darker world emerges. The world we know today was only one possibility. Sometimes, a single battle can decide the fate of civilization. And that is what makes alternate history so terrifying. Even modern culture would shift. Trade routes, alliances, economic power, everything changes. Technology still develops, but on a different path. Entire generations grow up under new systems of power. But the world is not peaceful. It is controlled. But the world is not peaceful. It is controlled. Underground rebellions grow across occupied territories. Even victorious empires crack under pressure. History is not inevitable. The world we live in today was only one possible outcome.